Okay, good morning. We're in the and about what is it? 3, 6, 7 lines down. The Mishnah spoke about that even if the sotah was really guilty, but maybe that was chus. She has some merit, so then it could extend her faith. And there's going to be more talk about it. We're really in the middle of the Mishnah because it's not simple. The next Mishnah is going to continue tomorrow. I think that others argue that not everybody holds that's supposed to stole. We had mentioned a bit earlier in the Masechta, 3 Shittas, Tanakam, Shimon, Rebbe. So we'll see more about the details. But so far we're going according to the Mandam, where it says that it is possible that some merit will extend her punishment. And the Mishnah spoke about 3 years. The Gemara brought down a Bryce that said some say 3 months, some say 9 months, some say 12 months, and our Mishnah holds 3 years even because really the source is going to be from Nebuchadnezzar that says that he was extended, his punishment was extended a year. And there's another passage that says that Hashem gives 3 chances. So if a chance is a year, so then 3 chances will be 3 years. That's the source of our Mishnah. So we're up to the next sugya, which is all Agarata today, but I'm not sure if it's easy Agarata or it needs more clarification maybe. But here it says, Yesh Chostola Gimel Shana. Our Mishnah said that there are some merits that could even extend for her 3 years. And the one wants to know what kind of merit are they talking about. When I said the Mishnah, I just made it like any merit. But the Gemara now is going to analyze which merit would help her to extend the punishment.
Which step is this?
21. We're together with the rest of the world now.
Yeah,
we caught up to the world.
Okay.
21.
Hey.
The Daf Yomi world.
But of course it is
Yeah, every day it tells you. Every day it tells you what you're supposed to be. Yeah. Somebody asked me what's today, so I told them the date. There's somebody over here, right? I think somebody, like Yaakov, he asked what's today. So I said the date. They said, no, what daf are we? Again, people live in the Daf Yomi, so you tell time by the daf. What daf is today? Yesh Tola Gimel Shanim. Some about 7 lines down, now 21a.
Okay.
Yesh Tola Gimel Shanim. Some merits could even extend it even 3 years. What kind of merit are we talking about? So the 2 choices. To learn Torah, and he would deserve such reward that could give him schuyot, even to protect him. But the Gemara doesn't think that the woman's learning Torah would give her such benefit. So the Gemara temporarily rejects that.
Excuse me, at this point, we still don't have, we have up to 3 months, but we don't have 3 years.
We answered that already yesterday. That was yesterday's Gemara that the Gemara took care of it. The Gemara said there's a verse that says 3 months, 9 months, 12 months. The Rambam says 3 years. And the Gemara said, on the top of the page, the first couple of lines, yesterday the Gemara said that he holds like Rabbi Shmuel that it says chus of a year, but he found another pasuk where it says that Hashem gives 3 chances. The 3 chances is 3 years.
Okay, thank you. So I didn't.
Okay, now the Gemara says which chus are we talking about? If it's Torah, no, she's not commanded to learn Torah, and therefore, even if she's going to learn, she's not going to get such kind of reward to be prepared to be spared the punishment, not spared but extended, postponed. Ella supposed to mitzvah, other kind of mitzvahs that she did. Supposed to mitzvah me magni kolei high. The Gemara thinks that it doesn't protect so much. And the Gemara now is going to go on to say that Torah protects much more than mitzvahs. And the Gemara doesn't think that the mitzvahs will be able to protect from the punishment of the sotah. But Tanya, we had a brayso, Azu, Darash Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yossi dash in the following pasuk. It says in Mishlei, Perek Vav, Kinei mitzvah v'Torah or. Mitzvah is like a ner, a lamp, a candle, and Torah is like a light. And light and candle itself implies that the 2 different issues. A light is a candle, a ner, a lamp, a bulb. It's something that gives a certain amount of light, but it's not the same as the sun.
The
light,
ore is bigger.
The ore is bigger.
Yeah. And
that's what the Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yossi says. Torah kosev as a mitzvah ben ner, it's a Torah b'or. The pasuk depends, means that it hangs on. It gives the mashal of mitzvah as a ner, a lamp, and it gives the mashal of Torah as a light. It's a mitzvah ben ner lo malacha. Maner ena megina lo lefisha, a mitzvah ena megina lo lefisha. That ner only has the ability to protect temporarily. So too mitzvah only protects temporarily. There's a Torah ba'or, lo malacha ma'or, megin, af Torah megina. That ma'or megina lo'olam, af Torah megina lo'olam. That's one difference. That's the difference between ner and or. That ner is only temporary as long as the light is lit, but then it gets extinguished. It doesn't go on forever. but the light, the sun, is la'olam. So that's the Gemara's, that's the Gemara's kasha to say that mitzvahs are not going to protect so much. The Gemara doesn't think that the mitzvahs are going to protect her as much as the Torah would.
I think it's another gears also instead of logging the gears it's mayor. Not or mayor after.
It just doesn't assign. But
It's more
okay.
it's more
okay, good. So that's we're still in the middle of the kasha, and the Gemara continues to ask kashas also. It's going to take time till we get to the teretz. This is the first point that the Gemara shows that mitzvah doesn't protect so much, and therefore the Gemara doesn't think that the mitzvahs of the woman would protect her from would postpone her punishment. But Omer, another proof to show that the Torah is much more than the mitzvahs. It says in the pasuk also. It's right there. It happens to be also in the Mishnah. It's right before. It's in the opposite order. It says over there in Perek Vav, B'Shalacha Chatan Chaosach B'Shach Mocha Tishmo Lacha B'Kitzos Itisichacha Kinei Mitzvah V'Torah or B'Derech Chaim Tochos Musa. So it has the pasuk one after the other. We're going, but it's one before the pasuk before the previous pasuk. The pasuk is talking about it starts over there. The Tzor B'Ni Mitzvah Savicha Balti Tosh Masimecha seems to be talking about both mitzvahs and Torah. I'm not sure, but here the Gemara talks about L'chora about. I'm not sure what the Gemara thinks we're talking about. But let's go through the pasuk and the drasha, and then we'll see what the Gemara is asking. We're still in the level of kasha. The blue highlighted is the pasuk. First it says v'gomer, but then the Gemara, etc. But then the Gemara spells out the whole pasuk, and the dashes it as it goes on. The first translation: when you go, it's going to lead you. When you lie, it's going to guard over you. When you're going to awake, it's going to be your talk. That's the simple words, simple translation. And more dashes it. There's a lech hatan kosa. In this world, the Torah is going to Torah. I'm not sure. He's going to lead you. When you lie down, it's going to protect you. That means even after you die, the Torah will be protecting you. In the future, Olam Haba, it's going to continue. It'll be your talk even in Olam Haba. Now the Brisa continues to say,
It'll be your what?
Your talk.
It'll be your talk.
conversation.
Now the Brisa continues to give a mashal, and the Brisa is not going to say the nimshal. We need Rashi to tell us what the mashal, what the nimshal is going to be. It just says the mashal over here. Mashal, it's a long mashal, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line mashal. Mashal Adam Shay Malach Bishal Naila Bafela. U'Misyore men hakosim u'men hapasim u'men habarkonim u'mechayira u'men halistim v'en yodeh be'ezedech malach. A person is going on the road on the dark night. He's going on the road and it's dark. He has a lot of problems. He's scared of the thorns and the traps. The pachas might be the trap, or it means a boar, and from other kinds of thorns, barkonim, also kinds of thorns and thistles, different kinds of thorns, and a boar, he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where he's going to walk into. He might fall into a boar, might go into a thorn bush. Also, animals and robbers. Roman are listening at night. The animals are roaming, and also the robbers are out at night. Also, it's not a problem. Any of their base he doesn't know where he's going. It's dark. He doesn't know all these problems. There's 3 problems, 3 groups of problems. Kots and Pros and Barkonim is all one group. Hayuan Listim is the second group. And any day based Malach is the third one.
Like
He doesn't know where he's going.
Natural disasters, human disasters, and not knowing how to where to go.
But the Chayira is also included with the human, the animals, and this goes together. Chayira goes together. Okay.
Okay, I get it.
That now he has slowly he gets out of his problems. The first one is Nadam Lo Hukashalor. He has a light, he has a torch, he has a lantern. So then some of his problems are taken care of. He's saved from the thorns and the boar to fall in. That he sees where he's going, so he's saved from there. Adain Mishar Michai Roman are listing. Then you're there based there. He still has the other 2 problems, that he's scared of the animals and the robbers, and he doesn't know where to go because it's he has a lantern. Okay, he can see, and he's not going to fall into anything. But it's not going to. The animals are not impressed with the light, and neither are the robbers. Might even, on the contrary, might even make him more conspicuous. And he also doesn't know where to go because of that.
His leg went out and it was saved from the.
Okay,
He can
then
see where he's going, but he can't see animals that are hiding.
it doesn't help him to see the animals. The animals see him,
Oh, I
So
see,
he's still in danger.
I see.
Even Shalom with a shachar, then is the light, the day breaks. Now comes daybreak and it starts getting light. So now the animals also retreat and the robbers are scared to come out. Yisrael Michai Rom and not listen. So he takes care of that problem also. That problem is also taken care of, but he still doesn't know where to go. Adain any of their base derech mahalech. Well, the Gil the Prussia's Racham, he gets to walk in the road, and over there it says Yerushalayim this way, and then he knows where to go. This will be cool. And then he has all of his he's safe and everything. That's the end of the mashal. And he's supposed to figure out the nimshal.
Only when he gets to a drachim,
Parashas Drachim. Parashas
Russia's
Drachim.
drachim.
So that's the mashal. So I wouldn't know what the nimshal is, but Rashi tells us. So Rashi says that Avuka Shalor is a mitzvah, and Amud HaShachar is the Torah. And the Gemara is going to say later on what the Parashas Drachim is. That the light, the lantern, is the Avuka Shalor, that's the mitzvah. And Rashi says that he saved a bit. And then when he got Amud HaShachar, then he has Torah. That's called Torah. Torah is the light. I guess this is, so far we understand the mashal because it says before it said that the Ner Mitzvah of a Torah or. That's very nice. The Ner Mitzvah, that means that the Avuka Shal or is the mitzvah. And Torah or, the Torah is the light of the day. Rashi throws in a little bit that the Gemara is going to say soon. I wouldn't have seen it in the Gemara, but here he says that he's saved from punishment, that the light saves him from punishment, and Torah saves him also from sin, which I don't see in the Gemara, but that's what Rashi already tells us now. And Rashi,
Amud HaShachar, that's Torah, yeah?
that's what Rashi says. You see the Rashi? Higi Amud HaShachar, Afkan Zochar Torah. That Amud HaShachar is Torah, and that's what's going to be. They saved more. And the mashal, in the beginning, the mashal was they had all kinds of thorns and problems. That was the mitzvah that they got to the light. And Rashi calls that he saved from punishment, some punishment. And then Amud HaShachar is the day. And I think Gemara said he saved from Chayira and from listening. Rashi says that the nimshal is going to be saved from sin and from punishment. So it's interesting, Rashi throwing in already about the difference between punishments and sinning. It means a person has to have two kinds of protection. One is not to sin, one is not to be punished, one is not to sin. So I don't see how Rashi sees it yet, but Rashi already throws it in. And then he says that when it comes to Parashas Drachim, then he saves from everything. And Rashi doesn't tell us yet what it means, but the Gemara is going to say, Parashas Drachim, Rashi tells us what the Gemara is going to say soon. So we'll hold up for Rashi, for the Gemara, but it does say the difference between Torah, mitzvahs, and Torah. How does that all fit into the pasuk? We're going down the pasuk of B'salach Chatan Chaosach, B'shach B'chat Tishmo Alecha, HaKitzah Seiti Sikacha. I don't see how this first line, the first wide line, where it talks about Olam Hazeh and Misa and Olam Haba and Lasad Lava, I don't see how that fits into the whole discussion about the three levels of Or and Amud HaShachar, and the Avuka, and then Amud HaShachar, Parashas Drachim. I don't see how that's helping us. The first point about Olam Hazeh and Misa, I don't see, it might be a different shot. This first wide line, I didn't get how it fits in to the whole trend of what we're talking about. So meanwhile, I'm leaving it out, I don't know. The Gemara does say again that you see that Torah is much more than mitzvahs. And the Gemara doesn't think that the mitzvahs will be able to protect the woman, the sotah, to postpone her punishment. Davar Acher. The Davar Acher is not going to be a Davar Acher in anything we said so far. It's going to be another drasha with another pasuk. So I'm not sure how the Davar Acher fits in. Usually Davar Acher means you have a pasuk. We have one, we have a darshan it, then Davar Acher, another way have a darshan it. This Davar Acher is not going to be another pshat in any pasuk that we said. It's going to bring another pasuk, as we'll see in one more line. It's highlighted in blue. And we're going to say another point. Mit Avera Mechaber Mitzvah, and Avera Mechaber Torah. An Avera that a person does can extinguish the mitzvah that he did. But the Avera cannot extinguish the Torah that he did. Many waters cannot extinguish the love. And what's the love? The love is going to be the Torah. Rashi brings a pasuk to say why we think that the Torah is the Mayim Rabim. He brought me in the Shir Hashirim. The woman says he brought me to the house of wine, and Iglo Allah Yahava. Iglo. I forgot the pshat, the pasuk over there, but Rashi says that I was referring to the Torah. Yain is sod. Very interesting that Rashi throws in the sod over here. It is gematria sod that the Gemara says, but it means probably the depth of the Torah, and that's called ahava. And the many waters cannot extinguish the love. And Rashi and the Gemara seems to say from that you see that the Avera that a person does is not able to extinguish the Torah. The Torah cannot extinguish. So again, you see that the Torah is more than mitzvahs because of not Amish and our issue of the sotah, but you see that the Torah is much more protective and saving than the mitzvahs are, because the Avera could extinguish the schus of the mitzvah that he had, but the Avera does not extinguish the Torah. So all that is the kasha. So far, this is all the kasha that we asked.
Because she could have an Avera and she could have Torah, although
She doesn't have Torah. Torah, we said that Torah, she doesn't have
She's
schus
not
of Torah because it's not commanded. Schus of mitzvahs doesn't protect so much. Kulei high. I should have also made the kulei high, this one word also, kulei high. That it doesn't protect so much. And the Gemara brought that the first point about that mitzvah is only protective or illuminates temporarily, but Torah is la'olam. That was one point the Gemara showed, that Torah is more than mitzvahs, and the Gemara doesn't think that that's enough to protect her, to extend her, to postpone her punishment. And the next thing that I brought in the Brisa was about the mashal. It brought the pasuk about B'salachatan Chosach. I don't know what to do with that one line because I don't know if it's talking about Torah or mitzvahs. I'm not sure. Maybe it's talking about Torah only, but the pasuk is talking about both. That's why I'm confused, because over there it says in the pasuk, "B'ni l'tzor b'ni mitzvah savicha al titosh levasimnacha kashema b'salachatan Chosach." So I'm not sure if it's only going on Torah, but to that one line I don't know how to juggle the first one line. But it does say a mashal about a torch, a lantern, and then about the or, and then about the Rosh's Rachim, and the first two, the light, the avukah, the torch, and the morning are compared to mitzvahs and the Torah. So you see that the Torah is much more than the mitzvahs. And again, the Gemara doesn't think that the mitzvahs would be enough to protect her. And the third thing the Gemara brings a davar acher, that you see that Avera could extinguish the schus of the mitzvah, but not the schus of the Torah.
Mhm.
So 3 points that the Gemara brought down that not reasonable to say that the mitzvahs are going to protect her. So we're still in the problem. Which schus does she have? The Torah is not enough, and the mitzvahs are not enough. So now we're going to have 3 answers. We have Yosef and Rava and Ravina coming up. We have Yosef and Rava, both of them are going to say mitzvahs. And it's going to explain that mitzvahs also do protect, not as much as Torah, but it also protects, and that also could postpone her punishment. Ravina on the third one, Ravina is going to say we're going back to Torah again, and even though she's not commanded, he's going to explain how it's possible to protect her also. So here it goes. Rav Yosef, mitzvah be'idna da'asik ba magna u'matzla, be'idna de'lo asik ba agune magna asul lo matzla. And Torah, bein be'idna da'asik ba, bein be'idna de'lo asik ba magna u'matzla. So for the translation, the word idna means time. Idan means time. Asik is to be engaged in, magna is to protect, matzil is to save. I don't know how everybody knows, but Rashi and Tosfos, everybody knows that magain means to protect from punishment, and matzil means to protect from sin.
I have a translation here from Matzle, is from Yetzer Hara, on the previous line.
So
Repeat it
that's,
a couple of places.
so we're saying that the Yetzer Hara means to do Avera. So the same as I just said, that the magain, I wouldn't have known this. I don't see the Gemara any hint of it. Maybe I'm missing something, but Rashi, everyone explains that the word magain means to protect, and the word matzil means to save. If I would have just said protect and save, would you have thought something about mitzvahs and doing sins and punishment? I would have thought one is to protect you, that it shouldn't come on you, and matzil is even after you're in the problem, it takes you out of it. But we'll learn Rashi, and maybe we'll get more clarity as we go along. But Rashi says that the word magain over here, protect, means that he shouldn't get punished.
The Yomari of Yosef.
Lo magin ala yisurin, and it's
It's
gonna
down here, yeah.
and
Magina al Yisurim.
Yeah, I also have Yisurim.
This is Yisurim.
Yisurim, right, I have Yisurim.
I have it, maybe this is an old edition.
You know Rashi?
what do you
Yeah.
have different than this? Magin
Yeah.
ala yisurin, the same thing.
Right, yeah.
And then when he talks about
You're saying Yisurim would be.
punishment, that's yisurin means punishment, suffering, punishment, right?
No. Oh, no, I thought you said it was from saving from.
That's the next one. Matzil. Matzil means
No,
yisur.
Magain. Wasn't this Magain?
Magin is to protect. That means from punishment.
Magina al Yisurim.
If I said it wrong, then
Protecting on the Yisurim.
from punishment, right? Suffering, punishment is all the same. The opposite. The other point is going
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
not
you
to
said
do the
that.
sin.
Okay.
If
thought
I
you
said
the
opposite?
Matzil was to protect from punishment.
If I did, I made a mistake.
Okay.
Here's the other one. Rashi is Maslas Miyetzara. Shelach Shilenu L'Chet. It's a couple of lines after that. So it goes to a sugya that Magin means to protect him from punishment, and Matzel means to save from sin. And we're going to come out that the point we're talking about now is that sotah should be saved from punishment. So if we're going to say that mitzvahs also have the ability to save from punishment, so we answered the kasha. The kasha was that a sotah, the Torah is doesn't help her. She's not commanded, so she doesn't have the source of Torah. And the source of mitzvahs, the Gemara taught that it doesn't help to save her from punishment. And the Gemara is going to answer that the mitzvahs also have the ability to save from punishment. It's not going to be as much as Torah, and also Torah protects that a person shouldn't sin. But that's not the subject over here. We're talking about if the mitzvahs are going to protect her from punishment. So the Gemara is going to answer that the mitzvahs also have the ability to protect her from punishment. Here goes the Gemara again. Amar Rav Yosef. Mitzvah. Now the Gemara also says a chiluk between mitzvahs and about b'shas ma'aseh and shelo b'shas ma'aseh. It means while you're doing the mitzvah and when you stop doing the mitzvah, while you're learning Torah and after you finish learning Torah. That's called be'idna. Be'idna means b'shas ma'aseh during the time that you're doing the Torah and mitzvahs, and shelo be'idna, be'idna delo asik means that you're not engaged in it right now.
Are we talking about the mitzvah or talking about Torah?
We're talking about both. We're going to explain both. We're going to explain the difference between Torah and mitzvahs, and it's going to talk about.
I see. When
and
you're,
each one,
you're
I will
involved
talk
in
about.
both.
Here's
you're
it.
safe.
Let's see what it says. So Rav Yosef says mitzvah. Maybe make some kind of a.
Oh, it said mitzvah.
I'll make some kind
Mitzvah,
of a
when
something.
you're involved in a mitzvah.
There's the first going to be about a mitzvah, and then he's going to talk about Torah. And Rav was also then we'll see a different opinion. Rav Yosef says I don't have enough colors. I'm using blue again, but that's not. I'm Rav Yosef. Mitzvah. There's a difference between mitzvah and Torah. Mitzvahs be'idna the asikba. What?
When he's learning.
While he's mitzvah. No,
it's a
not
mitzvah.
mitzvahs.
Oh,
While he's doing the
let's take
mitzvah,
in the mitzvah.
magno masla. It has both
Both.
qualities, that it's able to protect from punishment and it saves from sin.
Mhm.
Be'idna de lo asikba, lagune magna, atzul de lo masla. While he's not engaged in it, means after he finished doing the mitzvah already now. So he's not doing the mitzvah, he did the mitzvah before. So then it still has the ability to protect from punishment, but it doesn't save from sin. So we're happy already because according to this chart, it says that mitzvahs also could protect from punishment even when you're not being osik in the mitzvah. This woman, the sotah, the issue was, is she going to be protected from punishments? And we thought mitzvahs don't do that. So he says, no, mitzvahs also can do that. Mitzvah, even if he's not, even after you finish engaged in the mitzvah, it still is agune magna. It still protects from punishment. Torah is more. We're going to go on to why Torah is more, but even mitzvahs also protect from punishment even while you're not engaged in it.
Wow.
Torah is more. Bein bidna da asikba, bein bidna da lo asikba, magno masla. Even if you're not engaged in the Torah learning now, you did it already before, you learned Torah, not right now, you're not, it still has the ability to both protect from punishment and also to save from sin. So he got out of the kasha by saying that as far as protection from punishment, mitzvahs also have the ability even after you finish doing the mitzvah. So this woman, sotah, that's in danger of her life, so the mitzvahs that she did could protect her from punishment, even when she finished doing the mitzvahs. What way is Torah more? The Torah could protect from sin even after you're finished doing the Torah. Mitzvahs also can protect from sin, only while you're doing the mitzvah. So this was Rav Yosef's explanation, and that answers the kasha, that mitzvahs also could protect from punishment even after you finish doing the mitzvah. Maskefla Rava objects. Elamayata, doig vachitofel, milo aski b'torah. Amaylo hagina alayu. So the word hagina is a little bit misleading.
Isn't it a question?
It's a kasha, yes.
Isn't it a question that they were osek in Torah and yet they still got punished?
Yes, I didn't say the words of one. I didn't translate.
Okay.
Rava's kasha is that according to you, that Torah has the ability to save from sin even when you're not engaged in it. How come Doeg and Achitofel who learned Torah, why didn't the Torah protect them that they should not sin? And they sinned. They became Rishon. Doeg and Achitofel, they sinned. The Torah should have protected them. They shouldn't have sinned. I'm confused by misled by the word higina. We're just saying the whole time that the word magain means from punishment and matzel means from sin. And the Gemara's kasha here is that how come they were not saved from sinning? You shouldn't have used the word higina. I should have used the word amaylo matzalalai. So I don't know, but that's you have to swallow.
When you have both words together, so then you can say it makes a difference.
So we're talking on this subject, and I'm talking. It's not a different Gemara. It's on here. Okay, but that's what the
ואין
Gemara
לו
means.
לימוד לשמה, ואלה לא לימוד לשמה. Those who learn לשמה, then yes, maybe. I mean, I'm just saying it's.
No, I hear. The Gemara's not going to say that. Maybe I don't know what I hear. I don't know what to do with that. Okay, that's the Gemara's kasha. So Rabbi therefore is going to say differently than Rav Yosef. He's also out to answer the kasha. The kasha was that the sotah is protected by mitzvahs. How could mitzvahs protect her? So he's also going to answer that kasha, but he's still going to say he's not going to say like Rav Yosef said that Torah could protect from sin even when you're not learning, because Doganach Tofel they learned and they didn't get protected from sin. So he's going to change that point. Elam Rabba, Torah. We talked about Torah first. Before we spoke, I'll highlight this also just to get us maybe a little bit makes it clearer. And mitzvah. Because if Yosef did mitzvah then Torah, he's going to do Torah then mitzvah. We have to hold up not to get confused. Amarava Torah, ve'idna da asikba, magno matzla. So far the same. That Torah, while he's learning, it saves him from punishment, saves from sin. But ve'idna da lo asikba, agune magnat sulula matzla. That's why he said machitofel and dogin achitofel. When you're not learning, then it still could protect from punishment, but it doesn't protect from sin. That's in that point he's arguing Rav Yosef, because Rav Yosef said that the Torah will protect him from sin even when he's not learning. So that Rav said is not true. So he changes that point and he says Torah also cannot protect from sin when he's not learning. Mitzvah, bein beidna da asikva, bein beidna da lo asikva, agune magna, asur matzah. Mitzvah doesn't have the ability to protect from sin ever. Even while he's doing the mitzvah, it also doesn't have the ability to protect from sin. As far as protecting from punishment, mitzvahs also have the ability to protect from punishment even when you're not engaged in the mitzvah. Everybody has to come to this conclusion. In order to answer the kasha, by sotah, you have to say that mitzvahs have the ability to protect from punishment even after you finish the mitzvah. So both of them say that. So far, I mean, the only obvious thing that Rabbi wanted to argue was that Torah does not protect from sin after you finish learning. Rav Yosef said yes, Rav said not. Is there anything else that Rav is arguing on Rav Yosef besides this one point about Torah protecting from sin when you're not learning?
It says that it will protect from punishment.
It will
No.
protect from mitzvahs. It will protect from
No,
Torah. Torah protects from punishment
from punishment,
even
but not from sin.
protect from sin again. Which point are you focusing on?
Megana, we're talking about is punishment, right?
Yes. So Torah saves from punishment.
But it
No,
doesn't.
no.
But from sinning, it won't protect.
Right.
Won't stay.
Only while he's learning. Ve'idna the asik ba magna masla. Ve'idna the lo asik ba agune magna tzulula masla. Torah, both as far as punishments, even if he's not engaged in learning, it's going to save him from punishment. But saving from sin is only while he's learning, not after he finishes. And Rav Yosef said that it saves from sin even when he's not learning. That point he argued. Was there any other machlokes now between?
With Doeg and Achitophel,
They learned Torah.
they
and
weren't
not-
punished.
It doesn't talk about the mother. Doesn't bring the. They were punished.
Big time.
They were punished.
But
So
what
what
he's
do
saying, but
So
what's
the
his
asking
example?
question that why does the Torah
I'm
not
just
save
asking,
them from
what's his
punishment?
example supposed to be showing? That they still sin.
They sin. The issue of the Gemara is how, according to the way they're learning, why I said the word Hagana should have meant punishment, but they don't learn the kasha. They say the
I know,
kasha.
but then at the end, he uses both terms.
Yes, so that's the question. How come he used the wrong word? He should have used the word matzah instead of Megan. You're asking a kasha that the Gemara doesn't ask. The Dog and Achitophel also were punished. How were they punished? They had
Maybe they
Torah.
were saved from punishment till later. But a saved from punishment would mean forever.
I don't know. I have another point that they're arguing about, Rabbi and Rav Yosef. How about mitzvahs can it save from sin while he's engaged in it. Rav Yosef said that mitzvahs ve'idna the asikba magno matzla. It's at this point that it says also it saves from sin
While he's.
and Rava said that mitzvahs even while he's engaged does not save from sin. So I don't know why he has to say that. The point that the only kashi had was that Dog Yenachi Tov had Torah, and they were not saved from sin. So he has to argue on that point. If Yosef said that the Torah saves from sin even when he's not engaged in it, then Rava said it can't be. So he changes that. But he also changes another point that I'm not sure why, that he says that mitzvahs don't save from sin at all, even at the time that he's osik in it. But both of them, the point that we need in our Gemara is that the sotah doesn't have Torah. She doesn't have the source of Torah. She only has the source of mitzvahs, and she could be protected that the punishment should be postponed. And both of them say the same thing, that a mitzvah, that mitzvahs do protect from punishment even after the mitzvah is over. So that's the two answers. But Yosef and Rava both answered the same point, that the source of Torah will not help her, but the source of mitzvahs will help her, even though it doesn't have the same koach of Torah, but it also has the koach to save from punishment even after the mitzvah is over.
What is
So then,
What?
What is the same from punishment mean?
Here it means to postpone.
So
So you can say that it was postponed. That it was postponed. Even though it says, they died before 35, and they have no chelet l'olam haba. Okay, that's called that it was postponed. Okay, the Gemara has no kasha on that. No, you can't say. So it has to be that, that the saving of punishment is only postponing. So you can say that they had postponement, but the saving from sin would be that they didn't sin, and they did sin. That was the Gemara's kasha. A third terrace to the kasha. Rav Dina Amar. Again, the kasha was the sotah. Torah's not going to help her. She's not commanded. So Rav Dina is going to say it could be that the Torah is going to, Torah is going to help her. Rav Dina Amar, Olam Schus Torah. So the converting of silver vosa. But you had a kasha that she's not commanded to. He did pekude lo mifkeda, even though she's not. It's true that she's not commanded. The agra the mekakrin umasden benayu v'natan ulu v'rayu the asu mibei midrash amilo palgan badayu. And the reward, Agra's reward, and the reward that they get their children to learn Mikra and Mishnah, Makrin and Masnan, Benayu, that they get their children to learn Mikra and Mishnah, whatever they do in order to prepare the children, don't teach them the Mikra and Mishnah, but they help them to go to Cheder and they have food and whatever they need, they take care that they should learn Torah, Mikra, and Mishnah, Makrin and Masnan, and also they wait for their husbands until they come back from the Beis Medrash. So Rashi says it doesn't mean that he goes around the corner to the Beis Medrash, but he goes away to learn, and they let their husbands to go for a period to learn Torah. So, and they wait for them when they come home. Do they not divide with us? Do we not divide with them? Bilo Palgan Bada, do we not divide with them? That means that the husbands have the one for mitzvah Torah. That the Shaviv v'Shalachem Shalah. So the fact that they help us for Torah, they help us teach our children, they help us to learn Torah, do they not also divide, do we not divide with them the schar? Are they commanded? That's the end of the Gemara. So therefore a woman could have schos of Torah. The sotah could have the schos of Torah also. Right?
According to Ravina.
Right, that was a Venus theory. I don't understand exactly because the kasha was that she's not commanded. She's not commanded to do the Seder. She's not commanded to learn. She's not commanded to help her children to learn and her husband to learn. So if his answer is, even though they're not commanded, but they still get schar, so he could have said that they're learning themselves. I'm not clear where the Gemara jumped. The kasha was that, is it learning Torah? They don't have mitzvah to learn Torah. So the Gemara says, the answer, Rabina's answer was, but they do get schar for encouraging their children and
They
husbands.
become a catalyst for people who will have a mitzvah to learn.
Is she commanded to do that?
No.
So what you're saying, even though she's not commanded, that's only being for an independent mitzvah. She's not commanded to do. She's not going to get so much schar. But someone else who is commanded to do, if she helps somebody else to commanded to do, even though she's not commanded to do, that still has a schus of Torah. I hear what you're saying. That's nice. But my kasha was she's not commanded to do this either. But you're answering, but she's helping somebody who is commanded, so she gets schar for that also. Nice.
What's in the mean here?
The start of the mitzvah of Torah.
Right,
The start of the mitzvah
right.
of Torah.
Schar of Torah. She gets schar of Torah. She gets schar of Torah. That's what, and that Torah schar is somebody who is commanded. So she's getting the schar of Torah. That's a call. I didn't know that.
And that would
Nehi
even be
means-
in Kira.
In this sense.
the word nehi usually like means it's true. I don't have the exact translation, but it means it's true. But it's true that she's not commanded.
Okay.
To the limit for the true that she's not commanded, but the agba the makin the maslim the naif not on lulu gubaya those who made Russia mila baga badayu. So the word nehi means it's true.
Because the Mekhi, the party, lo mafkada,
She's not commanded. Yeah, yeah.
Then what else? And then after
But in the reward of getting their children to learn Mikra and Mishnah and waiting for their husbands until they come from the Beis Medrash, do we not divide with them? Yes.
I was just going to add to Ravina that, and in our day, Kira, or someone, if you have Shabbos guests, or they don't know, or a woman who talks to someone who doesn't know anything, and or let's say someone who would be commanded and explains some kind of Torah that they didn't know before, then she'll get the scar in that Torah.
As far as kibbutz of mitzvahs, it's not going to be more than the mitzvah. The kasha
So
was
the Torah.
the Torah. So if
The
she,
Torah.
if a woman is going to help somebody to learn the Torah,
Well, is halacha Torah or is it a mitzvah?
what?
The halacha. We wash our hands and we do it from the right and the left. Maybe that's
The question is,
a
that's
good-
called Torah or is that called mitzvahs? Helping somebody, if you explain
the
somebody how
halacha.
to do a
So
mitzvah,
it's saying the halacha.
but you're helping
We
them.
don't turn a light on Shabbos.
Right, but the question is that called Torah or is that called mitzvahs?
Yeah.
It's not so clear. The pashtus might be that that's called.
I mean, it is
Yes, sir.
Kiyomitz.
Oh, yeah.
It's Kiyum
I mean,
Torah.
Excuse me,
She's
excuse me.
she's hired to know what to
Kiyum
do,
Torah.
so that maybe that's.
Right, that means they're supposed to talk about, does a woman say Birchas Torah? A woman doesn't have mitzvah to learn, does she say Birchas Torah? So some say she say Birchas Torah because she's obligated to learn the Torah that she has to know
Right.
to do the mitzvahs. But some say no, that's not a good reason because that's what the mitzvah is. Then in order to do the mitzvah, the Torah mitzvah of Torah is going to be, even if you know the mitzvah already, it's still a mitzvah to learn Torah. But whatever you have to do in order to know how to do the mitzvahs, that's learning in order to, that's doing the mitzvah. Maybe I could hear both sides. You're
What
saying,
is it she's teaching? Oh, and so she's not even teaching her children, she's sending them off to Hebron.
yeah, it says that she's not she's not going to teach Mishnah, but it means she's helping them to do Mikra and Mishnah, whatever they need in order to learn Mikra and Mishnah. But the point is that they're learning Mikra, they're learning Mishnah. If she helps them to do mitzvahs, if she's going to help them
I
put on
see,
the
so, okay,
mitzvahs,
so then what I could append, I could append it or whatever it's the name is. I could change it to say that in a Kira situation, someone comes to her table and becomes inspired to learn Torah.
so then
Then she's gonna get spoofs for the Torah
Right.
they learned,
right,
not that she taught them it,
right.
but because they were inspired by
The
what
same
happened.
as the Gemara,
Yeah,
that
I
she's not learning, she's not teaching, but she's helping somebody to learn Torah that is commanded. Okay, next Gemara, Parashas Drachim. We're on a tangent now, going on a cruise, because the Brisa talked about the mashal, we had about the light of the torch, and then the daybreak, and then the fork in the road was saved from all the problems. It wasn't really our subject. Our subject was about the mitzvah and the Torah, which was the first two parts of the mashal.
Mhm.
But there was a third part of the mashal and Parashas Drachim by the fork in the road where it has directions where to
I
go.
thought we said that was Torah.
No, that was a Murah Shachar. Yeah, Rashi over here. You had Avuka Shel Or was mitzvah,
Oh,
and
Higir.
Amur Shachar was Torah. And Parashas Drachim we didn't explain.
Oh, we didn't explain.
Rashi did tell us, but I didn't say it because the Gemara is going to say. Rashi's going to say what the Gemara says. So
Okay.
now here's the Gemara. What's Parashas Drachim? That's when he's saved from everything. My Parashas Drachim. So the Gemara is going to have three answers, and I'm not sure if all of them are
Three different people.
what.
Three
It's
different
going to be Rav Chisda, Menachem Bar Yitzchak, and Mazutrin. I'm Rav Chisda. Zeh Talmid Chacham Yom HaMisa. If he made it to the end of his days, that he was a Talmid Chacham and he did everything right, so he made it. Means he doesn't know if he's going to. The problem is even if he has the light, he doesn't know where he's going. It means he doesn't know if he's going to continue going in the right way. He might fall and become a sinner. But if he came to the day of death and he made it, so now he knows that he's saved. It's over.
Parshas Drachim would be at the end after he dies. At the time that he
Right,
died.
right. So Rashi, let's go back to Rashi. Before I gave the Parashas Drachim, before I didn't highlight it, but now we can highlight it because we got to the Gemara. The Parashas Drachim. Afkan Yigil Yom HaMisa V'lo Pirish Min HaTorah Ad Yomo. So if he came to the day of death and he didn't go with veer from the Torah, then then he's safe.
If he what?
If he got to the day of death and he didn't veer from the Torah.
Go to Clarif.
But that.
Is that Clarif or is it like- it's just saying, it's not a third thing. It does, it's saying,
They're putting the fear.
Never say.
you're not safe as long as you're
You're never
not safe.
Okay.
But is that, you give a precious drachma.
In other words, when his neshama goes up, he sees which path he goes on, and now he knows.
He said, he
Is that
knows,
what it means?
you know,
There's
it
the
could be before the neshama goes up, he's dying on his deathbed. And he says, I made it.
No, how you put,
What?
He said,
there's a fork in the road. So he
now he's
sees
going,
that-
now he's going to
I
Olam
see
He
that
knows,
I'm on
I
the
know
right
where I'm
fork.
going. I know where I'm going now. Because I made it till here, I know where I'm going now.
But while he's alive, he says.
What?
While he's alive, but it has to
And
be.
he has to make it, Yom HaMisa.
Oh, the Yom Kippur.
I'm not sure.
Have a nice day.
Maybe there's a better shot than I'm saying. That was the first shot. That's called precious drachma. So it's not that, like the first things are saying. The mitzvahs, the Torah is gonna the Torah, the mitzvahs are light, and the Torah is a or. But the third thing it doesn't tell you. The third thing it's just saying when you make it to the day of death, so then you got it. You made it home. But now it's a gomer. Is there Talmud Chacham v'Yiraskeit? That if he gets to the level of Yiraskeit, that means that he made it. So this is this is more usable. It's more functional for us. That if a person accomplishes the level, he reaches the level of Yiraskeit, that he's fear sin, so then he's safe. The mitzvah,
Which is
yes,
earlier.
yes, that's in his life. He shouldn't just get the Yiraskeit on the day of death. So this maybe is more understandable that if he gets to this level of Yiraskeit, so then knows now he's safe. Now he knows he's safe from everything. He knows where he's going. This is a little doesn't fit with the pshat we said so far. That Talmud Chacham who gets the halacha right. There's Talmud Chacham. He knows a lot, but he doesn't get the halacha right. So that's not called that he made it. He knows where he's going. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know the way. So it's a little different than the subject we're talking about until now. How much he saved. Maybe
So
also,
here it would be proper cut.
what's that?
Whatever he learns, and if there's a halach and he gets it right, then on that prat, he knows that he's going on.
It could be that once the person came to that level, he's a Sukkah leave the Ilfa said that he's that level of learning that he gets it halacha right. It doesn't mean each halacha it's called. He's a Talmud Chacham, the level of a Talmud Chacham that gets the halacha. It doesn't probably it can be in a machlokas and it could be a machlokas about it also. But he's that level of Talmud Chacham that he's able to have the shikol hadas, he has the right balance of mind to be able to know what halacha should be. What do I have
Well,
over
over
here?
Pesach, I was told about a Maisa with Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach about brain death. That his whole life, he considered death to be when the heart stops. And the doctor adjured him because of a certain case in the hospital that it could be when they stop breathing. If they're on a respirator, that could, and his brain dead, then it could be that could be death. And he said the reason that he doesn't hold that way, even though that's what the doctors seem to hold, why is he going like Rashi, that says it's the heart? And he said because it's these Hashashav and Erechin that said there's no such thing as a woman being alive and the fetus, as the woman being dead and the fetus being alive. And at the end, they did an experiment and they proved with the sheep that they cut off the head of the sheep and a 5-hour operation to prove that there was no brain and that the sheep was dead, and they gave birth to a live sheep. And he changed his son. But then there was a complication. But in the end, 5 years after he died, okay, well, it doesn't matter about that. Anyway, he was willing to change his psak. So does that mean that
No, it doesn't
he
have to do
changed
it.
anything?
No, it doesn't have to do it on the moment. The question, the story needs verification and details, but I don't think that is the point about the Sukkah Shmais legal office has to do with that it's possible to change the psak. I don't think that's the same subject.
According to the information we had, he was going on the right way, and then now he got new information, and so he didn't. It was talking about the greatness of him, that he was willing to change what he thought all these years because of new information.
Okay,
That's not the same as.
I don't think it's the same subject as I said.
Okay.
I don't think so. But okay, maybe I would
This
like
is
to
a
see the
little
sources of
different
more details of the
subject. Now
story.
we're talking about this Siddiq and Talmidei Chacham.
We're not talking about Skuyot over here. We're talking about what is the Parashas Drachim. We had a marshal before.
Oh, we're talking about
The marshal was about Nizdam Lavuk Shalor, then Alam Rashachar, then Agila Parashas Drachim. We said that the Vuk Shalor is the mitzvahs, Alam Rashachar is the Torah, and trying to figure out what's Agila Parashas Drachim. So we have two pshatim over here, and one was Talmud Chacham on the day of death, one is Talmud Chacham with Yerushalayim, and one is Talmud Chacham who gets it right.
Who gets the
Who
halacha?
gets the halacha right. He's the level of a person who's able to get the halacha. Not only that he's a Talmud Chacham that he knows, but that he's able to do the halacha. He gets his decision is halacha true, and that's called that he made it to the Parashas Drachim. Now we go on to Davar Acher. Before it was mentioned that something another point about that an Aver can extinguish a mitzvah, but it cannot extinguish the source of the Torah. Davar Acher. Aver Mechaber mitzvah and Aver Mechaber Torah, that was quoted before. Now we're going to elaborate. On Rabbi Yosef. Darshe Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef like Kisina. That what was the pasuk he brought? The pasuk he brought was Ma'im Rabbim Lo Yichlu L'Chabas Es Ava, and Ava means Torah. But this is all Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef talking, like I said in the beginning of the Brisa. We didn't say that. All this was Torah Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef. Even this end of the Brisa where it says about La Yichlu L'Chabas. See the Gemara says Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef is the author of the whole thing, and he darshan it Kisinai. Like, what does that mean Kisinai? What's the big compliment here about darshan it like Sinai? No Rashi on that. He darshan it like what? As Sinai. Anybody have a shot on what is Kisinai? I don't know. But Vilmole does Shua Doig Vachitofel.
You know what he said it was more the Kias thing.
That's not the point over here. There's nothing to do with that over here. You're right, but here it doesn't mean that because it's not the Prophet's point about knowing the Kias. Here the point is that he said, "My Rabbi Yifel Chabas says Ava." Ava means Torah, and even sins can't extinguish Torah. So nothing to do with having the Kias.
As you expounded this verse, as if the exposition.
The drasha, it's as if you're the drasha from Sinai. It means it's not kind of a drasha we wouldn't have been authorized to say. You have to have been at Har Sinai to hear it, and he wasn't at Har Sinai to hear it. But it's as if he said it from Har Sinai. It sounds like a compliment. Yes.
I missed the Davar Acher. Is it Mechacha?
Mechaber. Mechaber means to extinguish, like the Mechaber Ish.
Okay, I have a chaf.
What do you have?
Mechacha.
So that's a mistake.
That's
So
a
it's a
mistake.
mistake. It's a printing
Like the
mistake.
second.
It's
To extinguish a mitzvah and not extinguish a.
right.
Okay, which is what we were saying.
That's what he said. That's quoted before. What do you mean to say?
Okay, oh, I see, Davar Acher, it's another way of saying.
It's a quote that was said before in the Brisa. The Brisa brought this down. Now we're expounding on it. Rabbi Yosef says, "Who's that?" Rabbi Nachman Yisrael says, "Who said this?" Rabbi Yosef said that. It's very impressive. Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef said this. Russia. He said it as if he was by Sinai. If Dogan Achitofel would have darshan the same way that Rabbi Nachman Rabbi Yosef did, they would not have pursued David. They were trying to kill David. They were against David. And they thought that they will be successful against David, even though David was a big Talmud Chacham. They should have thought that David is going to be saved. But they thought that David is abandoned because of the sin of
That
Hashem.
Hashem abandoned him.
Hashem abandoned him. Elohim Azavo.
Okay,
They saying that Hashem forsook him. They thought because of the sin of Bathsheba, Hashem forsook him. But they didn't know that Avera, even Avera, of course it wasn't Avera the way they understood it, but even if it would have been Mamash and Avera does not extinguish the schus of Torah. So David had the schus of Torah, and if they would have known that his schus would not be extinguished by the Avera, they would not have tried to kill him. My Dorish, what did they think? Dogan Achitofel, Hashem says that you should not see erba by you. Over there, it's talking about covering the soul, but the Gemara is talking about erba over here. And then Hashem is going to leave, meaning that they thought that if a person was over, he transgressed an avera of erba, Hashem was going to leave him. And they thought David did, and therefore they were not scared to try to attack him. But they didn't know what Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Yosef said. They never told him that the Torah does not get extinguished by averas. So David was still saved by Hashem, even though there was an avera. The next four lines of the Gemara is a bonus because we just brought the pasuk about Mayim Rabban Leichlu Lechabus Esava, and then it continues. Imitenish is Kolom Beiso Bava Boz Yevuzulo. So the Gemara dashes that also is mamash a bonus, but not on that subject at all. But there's something about they're going to somebody that will give all of his money. Imitenish is Kolom Beiso Bava Boz Yevuzulo. Someone's going to give all his money, try to stop or to try to get the love. Let's see what it says. Then he's going to be shamed. What does that mean? Means it talks about giving money in order to get Torah. How do you buy Torah with money? Did you buy Torah with money? So you might think that you can't, that even if a person is going to support a Talmud Chacham, you don't get this first. So he says, no, that's not what it means. You could. The person is going to support a Talmud Chacham, so then he does get reward, like the Talmud Chacham. And that's the case of Shimon, the brother of Azariah. Shimon was a Talmud Chacham, that his brother Azariah supported him. And when he's quoted, when Shimon is quoted saying something, we call him Shimon Achi Azariah because we respect the brother who supported him. So Azariah gets schar for that. And also Rabbi Yochanan the Bein Nasiya, the house of the Nasi, they supported Rabbi Yochanan in order to be able to learn. So also that about them, it doesn't say Boz Yevuzulo. Who's the case of Boz Yevuzulo? Who's the person who tried to give money, all of his money? That's the case of Hillel v'Shevna. Who's Hillel v'Shevna? Hillel we know. Shevna we don't know. Shevna was Hillel's brother. Shevna was Hillel's brother. That's
another one that's got up and yelled at the Jews.
That's a different one. Maybe you call him Shachna over here, but that's a Shevna in the pasuk. This is a Shevna, was a brother of Hillel. Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael and he said, Hillel v'Shevna achi havu. They're brothers. They were brothers. Hillel osik b'Torah. Hillel learned Torah, as we know. That's Hillel. The Shevna avadiska, and Shevna did business. The soap. He didn't support him. He didn't support his brother Hillel. Hillel was poor, and we know his story. He used to go to chop wood, and he made a tapek. And the soap amalei tanaro the liflo. Then he said at the end, let us join and divide the schar. He wanted to give money to Hillel to be able to buy a chelik in his Torah. That's not the time to give it. Not to buy somebody else's Torah because somebody else's olam haba by giving money. That doesn't work. But if he gave money beforehand, when he was becoming a Talmud Chacham, in order that he should be able to learn, then he does get reward. It's
and the Rambam was supported by his brother.
So you have the Shimon Achi Azariah, Yochanan the Bein Nasiya.
What is the pasuk again?
Okay, everything's good?
Yeah.
You go Talmud base. Omer ben Azai, that a person, we can't Omer ben Azai. It says in the Mishnah that a woman, our Mishnah holds that merit could postpone her punishment. And Ben Azai said, therefore, a person should learn, teach his daughter Torah. Why? That she should know this halacha, that she shouldn't think that if she's a sotah and she doesn't get punished, she'll say the sotah water doesn't work. She should know that there is such a thing as a postponement because of the stoya.
I have a different idea. Teach her more and more to be not to understand. She shouldn't become a, what do you call it?
Also, I don't understand what, just tell her this one thing. You don't teach her a whole, send her to Beit Yaakov. Just teach her this one thing. Every girl should know that Zchuyot could help to postpone.
Regarding my question, I just did an answer.
Could have some shared in the cultivation.
No, she shouldn't. Okay. Anyhow.
Why? Were you kidding me? You know what the
I don't know who said so.
Yeah, but here's not talking about the case of Shneur. There was like a rush. Everybody agrees that it's not the way it's supposed to be. It's because that
they were being held
Shabbos, yeah. So everyone says that you have to teach them in order that they should be Jewish. But mitzad the Torah, mitzad learning Torah, so then the girls not going to learn Torah. So that was the case. One.
What we're saying is that there is some Torah that you can teach them.
Or they're supposed to teach them, but they want to make some focus out of it now. He's allowed to teach them the real Torah. So Rabbi Nazir says this one thing. You have to know this one thing that is.
Okay, I'm just thinking now. My question now, it could be if she sees someone else for herself. She's not going to be snuot. She's not going to be in the He sees a different lady that's not blowing up.
Maybe because she was not Mazana. She's going to know that she was Mazana. If she knows that she was Mazana, okay. But Beleza says not to teach Torah. Kolam Malamid is Pita Torah Malamda Tiflis. We said Tiflis means rudeness. That was translated yesterday. That if somebody teaches a daughter, he argues not to teach Torah to a daughter. Now, okay, the Gemara says Tiflis Hakadaitach, he calling Torah Tiflis, he calling Torah Lamda Tiflis, Elohim ki ilu Lamda Tiflis. He puts in the word ki ilu. That the Gemara explains that means as if, not that Torah is Tiflis, but it's as if he's teaching Tiflis because she's going to get bad things out of it. And the Gemara has to explain what's wrong. What's wrong with learning Torah? I'm my time not to learn Torah. I am wisdom that I dwell with armor. The Gemara is now showing a drash. Together with Torah comes cunningness. And it's not good for a woman to be cunning. Because if she's cunning, Rashi says she's going to use the Torah for bad. She's going to know what to cover up. She won't be so simple. It's better for a woman to be simple that she doesn't know so much. If she knows she's going to use it in a cunning way, and it's not good for her, better she should not know. The rest of the Gemara continues for about 5 lines with Rabbana. The Rabbana say that you may teach a word of the girl Torah. So how did they do with the pasuk? Why do they do with this pasuk? A different drasha. A different halacha. Nothing to do with cunningness, but it has to do with the word oram. Rashi has 2 pshatim. Either the word oram would mean like naked. That means the person has to be ready to sacrifice for Torah. So ani chachma shachanti orma. I am Torah. Where do I reside? And somebody that doesn't need anything, somebody that's b'choser kol. He's Rashi says shapirish mikol hasakim v'naseh aleha ani b'choser kol. That a person is willing to forgo a lot of this world in order to be able to learn Torah. That's a person who's zocheh to Torah. Rashi has another pshat. Shemarim. She is kind to us. There is a kind of a cunningness that's good. That a person should be cunning to learn Torah from anybody that he could. First he says, the person learns a little bit at a time. People, they want to learn a lot and say, I learned a lot. But better to learn a little and to review it and to know it. So that's called to be cunning. Actually, has another thing he's willing to learn. He's willing to learn Torah from other people, not only about himself. So that's also including the pasuk, but they don't say the problem of cunningness that not to teach a girl Torah. Another similar drasha about from Rabbi Yochanan, not mamash the same subject, not our drasha over here, but here he says, "Ein divrei Torah neskaimen ela b'mishem esim atzmo k'mo she'eino." Only by an honor, the person who's humble and he makes himself like he's not. And the drash, the first time the pasuk is chachma. From where is it found? Where is chachma found? Ayin. From where? But the more is nashing ayin, nothing. Chachma, you know where it's found? By a nothing person. What does it mean a nothing person? That he doesn't hold himself big. He's an honor. That's the place where you get Torah. That was all a bonus. And
I always thought there was a.
That's
if we have time, we can go further to finish down with that a woman desires more. She leans more towards kav. Kav means 1 measure. A kav is a certain measure, 24 eggs, but it's a certain measure, more than 9 measures. I mean, she has a choice of a small measure or 9 times as much. She'd rather have a little bit, not a lot of food, and to have tiflus, lightheadedness, and the Gemara is going to talk about probably about even with her husband, and rather than to have a lot of money and future. Means I guess the case would be that the husband could become rich by going on a lot of business trips, or he could be a tenth of that prosperity, but to be home and with her, she'd rather that he should have less money and be with her than to be rich and not to be. He shouldn't be with her, and that's something. I don't know how it comes in. That's the reason why not to teach her Torah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because she has a desire for tiflus, so maybe tiflus will come out in the wrong way if she has cunningness, since she leans towards tiflus. So it might be dangerous to teach her Torah because she'll have the cunningness, which is able to lean.
I thought we just said how beautiful it was that the women that could send their husbands out for periods of time.
Yes.
And here we're saying though that it's better, she'd rather have less money and not send them out for a long time.
But where do you see a contradiction? I don't see the question mark. Why do these two?
Woman's nature prefers that.
If they go out for a long time, then maybe they're gonna make more money.
Again, if they send them if the question would be to get more money, they'll say, "Stay home, my dear."
Oh, but
Well,
if it's for
But
learning
you go to
Torah.
Torah, then go, my
Oh, I
dear.
see. Okay,
What is that?
okay.
The only my dear is
my
can be
dear,
understood in many ways.
My
Those are their
my
cunning.
My Rosa Isha Bakav Tiflis Emo Mitishas Kabno preaches. I'm not sure what the Gemara thought, what the Gemara's Maskana was. It adds on the word emo. Rosa Isha Bakav Tiflis Mitishas Kabno preaches. So the Gemara is added on the word emo. What are the, I guess that's Pashup Shah, huh? Or the okay. That's what the Gemara means to say. The Gemara didn't know that, and the Gemara says that it means with her husband. The Kav Tiflis emo. I mean, Tav Tiflis meant with the cow. I thought it meant with the cow. That a little parnasa with the tiflis. That's what Pashup Shah.
I think so.
So I'm not sure what the Gemara thought and what the Gemara's maskana was. But that's on the word emo. That's all the Gemara does.
Taisus, take a look, on that, it says that a woman desires that her husband should be a donkey driver that.
Yeah. But what does the Gemara think besides the word emo and then with the word emo? But what happened? What happened? What happened in the Gemara that, okay, I don't know what the Gemara was machadish over here. Chassid Shota. The Mishnah and the Rock about 4 things: Chassid Shota, Rasha Oram. What else did it say? Isha Prusha, and a Makus Prusha. The Mishnah said 4 things that Rasha Oram. The second one. Today's apps can have these 2 things, and these things are Mavalei Olam. They ruin the world. One is each probably comes in because of Isha Prusha. If you see a woman who's aesthetic, he's suspicious. But here it says Chassid Shota, Rasha Olam. That's going to be the beginning, and we're going to talk about that today. What's a foolish chassid? He sees a woman drowning, and he says it's not proper to look and to save her, that she's not dressed properly, and she's drowning, so he's going to be a chassid and not save. That's called the Chassid Shota. He has to know how to use the chassidus. What's considered a cunning Russia? He's a Russia, but he's cunning. So there's something that he does that you can't tell that he's a Russia so much. It's something which is cunning. And the Gemara is going to give many examples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 examples, 7 on the next page also. 7 examples of what's called a Russia Orim. Somebody has a Torah with his opponent, and he comes to the Dayan, to the Bezdin, and before the opponent arrives, he really starts saying his side. So the Dayan is impressed. A person wouldn't talk the same way if the opponent is in front of him. You can't lie so blatantly if the opponent is in front of him. You're not supposed to. You're not allowed to listen. The Dayan is also not allowed to listen to one side. So if someone does that, he's called a Russia, or he's cunning evil man. There was a person who's poor. He's below the poverty level, and that's 200 zuz. He has less than that. He's allowed to take tzedakah. And the person gives him one coin in order to make him above the poverty level. Now he's not eligible to get any tzedakah anymore. So he didn't do him a favor. The time someone that has 200 zuz, he's not eligible to get all the manas aniyim like a shikol peyah ma'asirani. But if he has 1 dinner less, dinner. If he had 1 he has relatives who need it. Then he comes to take it first, and I'm not to stop him. So he gives him a coin to make him rich in order that he shouldn't be eligible, so now his relatives could come and get it. So that's called a Russia Orim, a cunning Russian. Wow. Third line, that he gives a Eitzah to the Yisomim how to get the Yerusha out of the hands of their sisters. And he's giving it to them. He doesn't get anything out of it. He's just, there's brothers and sisters, and the case that is right now should be that the sister should get the Yerusha, and it's going to be the Chasim what? It means that the daughters of the deceased are eligible to get Parnasa. That they don't get the Yerusha, they don't get any Yerusha, but they do get supported from the Nechasim. And if there's not enough money to support the daughters plus the Yerusha, then the daughters go first. So but there is halacha that if they sold it before Bezdin decided, before it came to Bezdin, so then the sale is on, and they get the money. And that was not good for, they should have mixed in. What are you mixing in for? If the Yisomim themselves know the halacha, and they could sell the Nechasim before the Bezdin comes to it, so it's sold. But someone, an outsider, should come and give such an Eitzah, the benefit of the boys, and for the detriment of the girls. What are you mixing into other people's things? Amesi eats Eitzah, if he gives somebody an Eitzah to sell when there's a minimal amount of estate. If the Yisomim sold the minimal amount of estate that they got, and if they wouldn't have sold it, the girls would have gotten it because of their parnasa that the father has to support. It's a good sale, and you don't back out on the sale. They don't give the money to the daughters. They're allowed to keep it. So if they do it themselves, it doesn't say that they're Rosh Hashanah. But if somebody gives them an eitzah to do that, that's called a Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
Another similar case. Another case of giving an eitzah to somebody that's going to be for one person's benefit, not a person's detriment. Tanya, here's a case. Somebody said, I'm giving a present of my estate to you, and whatever's left from you should go to a third party.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. What if the first one did not leave over anything for the second one?
Mhm.
So Rebbe holds that he's not allowed to sell it. If the first one sold it, the second one, the one online, is allowed to come and take it from the buyers. But Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says no. It's only what's left over. When I said over, I said it wrong. I said right away left over. According to the simple translation, I'm giving it to you for as long as you live. After you die, it goes to somebody else. It doesn't go to your Yarshim. It goes to somebody else. And he sold it in between. Is that could the second online take it out from those who bought it? So Rebbe says yes. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says no. That the instructions were only whatever's left over. When you die, whatever's left over goes to Plony. But if nothing's left over, it doesn't go to Plony. So someone's going to tell the first person to sell it, and he's taking it away from the one online.
Someone's
So
going to tell the first person.
there's Reuben and Shimon. Reuben, someone says, my nechassim go to Reuben, and after, as long as he's alive, and when Reuben dies, it goes to Shimon. Reuben
What's
sold
left
it.
of it?
And Reuven sold it. So who's the Russia? Reuven or the guy?
No,
that
no,
sold
the
it?
gives advice.
Gives it right.
If Reuben sells it, that's his business.
He's telling Reuven. to
Someone
use
tells
it up.
Reuben, sell it, and
Oh,
you'll get the
see.
money, and they won't go to Shimon after you die.
So you spend it all. You
Well,
have
it said
the
a
money.
how.
Yeah.
It said a how. It didn't say sell, didn't it? Or did I misread it?
Yored Hasheni Umocha B'achal. He sold and he ate. He ate the money. He ate up the money
Well,
from
then,
what
so
he
he didn't
sold.
sell it.
He sold it, and he got the money, and now he eats it. He ate up the money.
He ate up the money, so there's nothing left. Not that he sold it.
Yeah. you can't-
Hasheni Motzim Yad Al Kuchos. The second one,
Can't eat a field. So
the
it
second one,
makes
to go
sense.
to the field that was sold. He goes to the buyer and says, when you bought a field which was a lien to me, I was online.
I see. Okay.
I think it's asking a
How
little
being
bit.
sold.
Achal means he consumed it. He
How do
consumed
you
the money.
how do you consume a field?
The money, consumed the
Money
money
that he
that he
sold.
got. He sold
got
the
money.
field. He got $100,000 and he ate it up. I think that's what it means.
Go
There's,
buy it,
I think
you
we had
get
this subject by
investment.
in Turkey. We spoke about Al Tia Kochi Adayana.
Oh,
Don't be like a lawyer. So what's the problem to be a lawyer? Because if you're not getting paid, it came out that you're allowed to get paid to be a Tohen Rabbani. What's a Tohen Rabbani? There's some say you're a lawyer. So we came out, we learned that the Sugi Lachor comes out, there's two Gemaras, and maybe this is also as a proof that it's only the person who's getting involved, that it's not his business. There's a dispute going on. Why are you getting involved for one person's benefit, another, and what are you getting involved? Leave them alone. Is there a person who gets involved for a relative? The Gemara says you're allowed to. Say what you're allowed to do for yourself. You're allowed to tell a relative a good answer. Of course, no lies. Of course, it doesn't mean say lies. If you say lies, sure, it's gezer, no question. You're not allowed to be a lawyer to somebody who's gonna steal. Of course, the case is you're giving him a good answer, which is true, a true Torah answer. You're London, you know how to, and the person who's not Morris is gonna not write the contract in the right way, whatever it might be. So there's a problem to be Orech Din, a Torah Rabbani, because why are you getting involved? But if you're getting paid for it, there's no problem.
Well, you're getting involved.
What?
It's not- I'm getting paid. That's what.
Yeah, if what you pay me, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Like, same way it says in the Gemara that a relative is allowed to help out. The Gemara says that Talmud Chacham maybe because he should be chassidus, he shouldn't look bad that he's helping out, but really you're allowed to. So I think that's right over here. The person who gives the answer, he's a problematic person. The Gemara continues. More pshatim in what's called the Rosh Oram. Rav Yosef Bar Chama Rav Sheshev Zamachri Achem Me'or Chosav. So I wouldn't know what the words mean. Rashi says that he tells other people, do like me. Rashi says, do see and do like I do. Go in my ways. He just wants to show himself like he's a tzaddik, and people, he's really not a sincere person. He wants people shouldn't look into his deeds because then they'll see that he's not a good man. So he says, he shows himself off. He makes himself look like a righteous person on the outside. I wouldn't have
These are all
known.
Rosh Hashanah.
That's all Rosh Hashanah, right? Another pshat, that he's himself he's lenient, but other people ask him questions, and then he's makbid for them. So also seems to be that he's really a faker. He's the one he's makbid lachem to show as if he holds like he holds by, but he himself doesn't do it himself. And the last pshat, he learns Mikra and Mishnah, but he doesn't learn how to analyze the Mishnayos, which is called Gemara nowadays, and that's going to be tomorrow's sugya.
And where's it? Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. That's the previous one, or that starts in the.
That was the one that was and that's
The last one, Ula, is that he learns things, but he does not shimush the tummy.
no, he learns Mikra and Mishnah, but he doesn't learn Gemara. What does that mean? What's so terrible about that? So the Gemara is going to say, so there's a Shemesh, which means the servant give him a cup of water, but the Shemesh talking about is to serve them by learning how to analyze the sugya. And that the problem is not if he's a Mikra Mishnah, it's fine. But if it's a Mikra Mishnah and he makes like he's a posek, he paskins because of his Mishnah, some sugya. That's the problem. That's going to be tomorrow's sugya. That it's a terrible thing that a person, even though he has Mishnayos and he seems to be very learned and people are very impressed with him, the Hamonam is impressed. He knows so much, but he really doesn't know how to paskin. He's not supposed to paskin. Yes, everybody. The second one only gets what's left over after the first one dies.
So that's going on that previous case.
Yes, that's explaining. I'll help out over here. That's help out. The Tanya. What's there? The Tanya. You want to put this in parentheses? This is all the explanation of that.
Then the fifth one is, I didn't hear the fifth one, the last one. That's what I find.
Rashi, that he tells people do like me. Do as I do. I'm all righteous.
Oh.
Anything you see me doing is gonna be right. A person who wants to cover up. He wants to cover up and seem righteous. And the next one is make a last one machmal achir. He's machmal for other people more than he himself does. And the last one is part of Rishon that he passes from his Mishnayos without he's not authorized to do that. He doesn't know enough to be able to pass him, but people are impressed with his superficial knowledge and he makes as if he knows that.
Means he doesn't know.
He does not analyze.
Thinks like crazy.
Thank you. There's
Okay.
7, by the way.
What?
I wrote down the 7.
Yeah, 7, right? That's
Yeah,
7.
that's right.
You see 7?
I'm as we going along, I'm looking at the numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
I don't know if this, did we learn with you?
Yeah, we didn't learn this.
We didn't learn this.
I don't think we
learned
learned
this
this.
in the old days when I still used to use a pencil. Yeah.
Okay. Have a good day, Ruben.